So I smelled and bought a lot of fragrances in 2025. I mean, a lot. If you guys been with me since the beginning of the year, you know this. But there's only a few fragrances that really helped me understand my taste. So out of my 200 plus collection, come back and I'll tell you which fragrances actually stood out to me this year. But you gotta come back. Come back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video, Smell Good with Jenna. I'm, of course, Jenna. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're into fragrance reviews, layering combos, and just smelling like you got your life put together, then you know what you got to do. Stay blessed, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into it. So happy New Year's Eve, everybody. Hopefully this year wasn't as hectic as mine was. A blessed year, but it was down to the wire hectic. But I'm grateful to still be here and my loved ones here, and thankful for all you guys that have taken this journey with me when it comes to fragrances and have supported me, so it's greatly appreciated. I wasn't going to do this end of the year recap video just because, like I said, up until the final moment, it's been pretty hectic, but there's a lot of fragrances, well, a few that have really stood out. I can't mention all of them, but I try to take from the popular categories that everyone is talking about on social media and make it into my own video here on YouTube. So I thought, let me end off the year right and get a video going. And definitely I want to talk about two more fragrances that I got. I didn't buy it because I said I wasn't buying anymore until April, but these were gifts from special people in my life, so I definitely want to show you guys that. So yeah, so without further ado, let's get into my 2025 fragrance recap. All right, so like I said in the intro, let's get into the two fragrances that I received for Christmas. I swear I didn't buy anything. I told you guys my next purchase will be in April for the spring. These were gifts, Girl Scout honor. I've never been in a Girl Scout, but this is what they say when you're telling the truth. So the one fragrance that I told you guys, if you watch my Christmas wish list video a couple of weeks ago, I said the one fragrance that I was looking for Christmas was Louis Vuitton's Les Sables Roses. Shout out to my lovely, lovely, lovely man. This is all I wanted, and I actually wanted. If you guys don't know me, you don't know me, but I'm a collector. So when I get into something, I will collect heavy, which is, I don't think necessarily the greatest thing, but before this, I was really, really into collecting sneakers. I mean, I've been collecting sneakers since I was 13, 14, and you guys might think that's crazy, but you gotta think 13, 14, especially as a woman, on the shorter side, my foot size hasn't changed. So there was a pair of sneakers that came out not too long ago that had sentimental value to me that I wanted, and I received that as well. So I'm very appreciative. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for fragrances. Les Sables Roses. This was my next Louis Vuitton fragrance that I really, really wanted. And I'm like, I'm not buying it. I spend enough money. So this is what I requested, and we got it. This is a beautiful rose oud fragrance. People probably feel that this is overdone, that scent profile, but something about Louis Vuitton and the way they do rose and ooze. Did I just say rose and ooze? Rose and oud. It's just top tier quality. And I believe like this whole oud line from Louis Vuitton is supposed to be like pay homage to like that Middle Eastern vibe. So I have this now, obviously, and I also have Fleur de Dessert that I've mentioned to you guys numerous of times. People don't talk about that too often. So, you know, we added to that. And it's funny because Louis Vuitton will give you 2 samples. And I'm like, why are you guys giving me a sample of Les Sables Roses? Like, I literally have 100 ml of that. I don't need an extra sample. But they did give me Ombre Nomad. And I'm like, you know what? It's funny because I was actually thinking about if I wanted it or not. And I sprayed it on me and I'm like, ooh, this is masculine. But when it dries down, it's pretty nice. So I don't know, we may see that in my future. In a year or two, we'll see if I really need it or not, but I'm excited to rock this for the winter time, and I'm, like I said, very excited. So this is Louis Vuitton's Les Sables Roses. All right, so let me get into this a little bit quicker than Les Sables Roses because that was 3 minutes of me yapping, but it's okay. This is what we're here for. We're not in a rush. This is why you tuned in. We love fragrances. We built the bond this year. So, just go with the flow. But the next fragrance that I was surprised with for Christmas, Kayali's Freedom line, Musk Santal. Shout out to one of my other best friends. We got together for Christmas, for dinner, or after Christmas rather, and we exchanged gifts. I wound up giving her a gift set of Paco Rabanne's Fame because she wound up falling in love with that when we went to Sephora, I want to say a month ago or so. And shout out to my other best friend who surprised me with Balm de Freak Absolute. See, isn't it great to have best friends that are into fragrances? Which the event she had went to, that she wound up getting Balm de Freak Absolute for $50. She wound up seeing Paco Rabanne because that's covered under that Puig brand, and saw her Fame, the gift set, and I'm like, yeah, give me that. I'll give that to my other best friend. So I gifted her that. She gifted me this, and I was genuinely surprised because I was not expecting this at all. We wound up smelling this. I didn't really care for the matcha one, and then there was the coffee one that I was digging, but I wasn't wowed by it. As you guys know, I love coffee fragrances, but I don't know if it's something that I'm like, I need in my collection. I would have to spend the block on. But this one I had really liked just because, like a lot of people are saying, it reminds them of Valaya, Parfum de Marly's Valaya, and this definitely smells like that, but maybe a little bit sweeter. But I was thinking about it ironically. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should put this on my spring list of fragrances to think of to purchase for next year. And then I guess she read my mind all the way from where she was at. So she got me this. And also, shout out to her, she purchased Selena Gomez's Rare Beauty Woody. I guess is it called Woody Oak or just Woody? I don't know. But the fragrance layering balm, I wasn't really interested in this, but when we were smelling this, and I even rubbed this on my hand, I wound up spraying Tom Ford Santal blush, and I'm like, wow, this is really nice. But the Santal blush is already nice, but this gave it that added woody base, which obviously Santal blush, if you don't know, sandalwood, woody, so it goes hand in hand. I'm like, wow, this is really nice together. So she wound up surprising me with this. And I think this is a really genius idea. It's not obviously lotion that you put all over your body, but something to elevate your fragrances, especially on your hand and wrist maybe or so, of different pulse points. I think this is a really good idea. And something I wasn't interested, but now we have it. So shout out to my best friend for these lovely gifts. And 3 minutes of talking about my purchases, but it's all good. Now we're gonna get into the recap. Okay, so let's actually get into my recap for 2025. So my fragrance of the year is Parfum de Marly's Valaya Exclusive. There's a lot of releases that came out this year, and there might be some that were actually better than Valaya Exclusive. But the reason why this was my fragrance of the year, because one of my favorite fragrances, and definitely my favorite fragrance from Parfum de Marly, is Valaya. So I was already intrigued when we heard that there was an exclusive version, but I feel like if a fragrance is able to knock another fragrance off from the top spot, it has to be goated, right? And that's what Valaya Exclusive did for me. It toned down the sharpness of Valaya, even though I really enjoyed it, and instead you got a little bit more creaminess with the sandalwood and almond in here, and I think this is a beautiful fragrance and more versatile than the original Valaya, where I feel like the original Valaya is very signature scent worthy, but I think it's appropriate for warm weather. So that late spring, summer, early fall, because you still get the heat in the fall time, it works perfect there. But for this one, it's just so much versatile. You can wear this in the spring and summer. You can wear this when it's cold outside. I wore this for the first time when I purchased it, I think around, was it late March or April? And it was just so beautiful and cozy and comforting with that, like I said, creaminess that came in. So again, if a fragrance can sit here and knock a fragrance off the top spot, it has to be fragrance of the year for me. So if you haven't already, do yourself a favor, especially if you're a fan of Valaya, check out Parfum de Marly's Valaya Exclusive. Okay, so the biggest surprise this year for me was Bond No. 9's number 1. I'll be honest with you guys. This is complete transparency, and I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not one that's influenced. Heck, I was influenced by other fragrance influencers to create a YouTube page and Instagram page and what have you. So I'm definitely always influenced when it comes to specific fragrances. But I also do my research. But I tell you, with Bond Number 9's number 1, this was not on my radar. Actually, I thought I was done with my collection when it comes to Bond Number 9, but I received 2 samples in the mail. I didn't expect to really dive into it just because for a while, every time they send me samples, it's something that I already have in my collection or I already smelled before, or it's a little too masculine, so I really didn't care. But I decided to just open what I received, and one of the fragrances happened to be Bond Number 9's number 1. And when I tell you, when I smelled this one, see, it has me in a trance. When I smelled this, I bought it the same week, and this is a beautiful fragrance. And I'm not into musky type of fragrances, which is something I would like to explore in a year or so. Like build up a little bit more on my musky fragrances, but this is such a beautiful, musky, vanillic, floral fragrance that honestly, this is definitely signature scent worthy. I say that about a lot of fragrances, but this is just so clean and elegant and smooth and sweet, creamy, you name it. Bond Number 9, no, in my opinion, no one does it better with them, like them, when it comes to signature scents. And like I said, this could definitely be someone's signature scent. So definitely for my surprise of the year, the biggest surprise of the year, has to go to Bond Number 9's number 1. Okay, so the next category is my most worn, most reached fragrance of the year, and it has to go to YSL Baby Cat. This category is a little bit tricky for me just because I really, really like YSL Baby Cat, but it's not necessarily a love for me. It might be just right under being a love for me. So I didn't know which fragrance to go with, but I had to think about it. I'm not the type of person, these days I'm not out and about, right? It's work, maybe hang out here and there, but generally speaking, I'm going to work, I'm running errands, so I don't really need to put on a full layering combo. When I really get to show out would be at work. And even at work nowadays, I've learned to chill out when it comes to overspraying, so I won't reapply at work, and I for sure won't wear fragrances to bed. I'm just definitely not that person. So when you look at my collection and my bottles, you don't see huge dents, right? So with this, I just got this in September, and this is a 4.2 ounce. So now you have all that on the table. I don't reapply, I don't wear to bed, I'm not out and about like that. So when I see a dent in a 4.2 ounce bottle that I just bought, looks like this, it has to win this category for me. And as I mentioned to you guys, it's not a love, but it's a really good fragrance. And specifically, it layers incredibly well. And I wound up layering this fragrance with a lot of fragrance. I want to say 5 or 6 in the past month or so. If you want something to elevate and give a little bit more of an edge with that smokiness and sweetness, Baby Cat does the job. So if you haven't done so already, do yourself a favor and check out YSL's Baby Cat. Okay, so the next category, the fragrance that changed my taste this year, we're going with Lorenzo Pazgaglia's Vampire Rum. Honestly, the nod could probably go to also Dior's Vanilla Diorama, but this fragrance I wound up wearing or unboxing earlier this year, and I really feel like this is what pushed it over for me, so I'm gonna give this the nod to this one. I've always been a gourmand girly, into really sweet vanillas, but once I smelled this changed the game for me. Vanilla Diorama, but specifically this. When I see a fragrance that has a gazillion and one vanillas, I'm thinking, okay, this is a gourmand bomb, right? But that wasn't the case with Vampire Rum. Instead, I always describe this, specifically, I did this in my last video from last week, my top vanilla fragrances. This reminds me of vanilla that is raw, so you just got it from the ground and it's at its beginning stages with the patchouli that it's coming from the ground. And then all of a sudden you add this booze and caramel and oud to this, and it took me off guard because again, I'm expecting something to be super sweet, and that wasn't the case. I actually felt like I wasn't gonna like this. But once I continued to smell my wrists over and over, it just became more intoxicating and addictive. And I'm like, wait a second, I like that. So after that, I realized I'm like, I like vanillas that are boozy, that are spiced, that are smoky, woodsy, not that overly sweet stuff. So this fragrance right here definitely started it off for me when it comes to changing my taste. So it had to get the nod. So if you haven't done so already, do yourself a favor. I talk about this one all the time. Lorenzo Pasquale's Vampire Rum. Listen, at this point, you guys are gonna be here all day. Thank you so much if you got to this point. But you know, I'm a yapper, and again, we're bonding. So next category we have is best affordable fragrance, and it has to go to Lattafa's Ungam. Now, this was the year that I wound up backing off with purchasing dupes, Middle Eastern fragrances, just because I have to stay true to myself. I don't want redundancy in my collection just to say I have it and to just review it. I know you guys like to hear reviews from different people, and I would love to give you reviews on multiple things, but after a while, it's just like, okay, am I purchasing this for me and I'm gonna wear this, or am I just purchasing it just for views? So I have to be true to myself, and I had to slow down with purchasing, like I said, the dupes and what have you. But Lattafa's Ungam, I wound up purchasing last year because hype definitely got me to buy this, and for right reasonings, because this is so much better than what it's inspired by, Burberry Goddess, that I had to give away Burberry Goddess. This is a beautiful lavender vanilla fragrance, and with the added praline note in here, made this incredibly smooth, sweet, and just a gorgeous fragrance. Fellas, don't sleep on this part of the video because this smells, it's a sweet fragrance, but that lavender, which is typically a masculine note, it works really, really well with you guys. I actually gave Burberry Goddess to one of my co-workers who is a guy, and it smells incredible, layered with different fragrances, specifically lavender fragrances. So don't sleep on Ungam. And if you haven't done so already, check out Lattafa's Ungam. So the next category we have is most hype, most controversial fragrance, and it has to go to Valentino's Donna Born in Roma, the Ivory. This fragrance caught so much hype just because of, one, Born in Roma is such a popular line for men and women, and the fact that marshmallow, that specific note, has really had a moment this year, and even I want to say last year, that everyone was up on. You put two and two together, a popular fragrance line and a popular note, this should do numbers. I don't know what numbers are when it comes to different fragrances, but it should have been a fragrance that was constantly sold out. Instead, this was met with a lot of hate, dislike, you name it, and just so many different videos that it wound up garnering attention from people who wanted to smell it, who already bought it and disliked it. I thought this was a beautiful fragrance. I think a lot of people felt like the marshmallow in this should have been more gooey and sweet, but instead it was toned down. It was more on the citrusy green side, if you will, this fragrance with that sweetness. And I thought it was beautiful. And I think this, within time, specifically, once this fragrance sweetens up, it's gonna get even more beautiful, and people are going to regret not getting this one. So if you haven't, you probably can't get it now because it's limited edition. You probably can find it, someone selling it, but check out Valentino Born in Roma, the Ivory. And the last category of the year goes to my fragrance of the year and my most expensive. It goes to Guerlain's Spiritueuse Double Vanille. This is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. And honestly, I've only had this for about a month or so, but I don't need multiple months. I don't need a full year to know what's my fragrance of the year, because that feeling that I got from wearing this, you can't duplicate. Spiritueuse Double Vanille is a beautiful, beautiful vanilla fragrance. And dare I say, I actually ranked it in my video last week. I keep mentioning it, but my top vanilla fragrances, I ranked this as #1 in my list. This is a beautiful vanilla. And if you Google top vanilla fragrances, you're probably going to find this on top of someone's Reddit list or somewhere on Instagram that is their top vanilla fragrances for right reasonings. This is such a resonance, smooth, refined vanilla. It's not overly sweet, gourmand. So as I told you guys, my taste has changed when it comes to vanilla fragrances. This fits that. This isn't gooey sweet. Instead, it's a little smoky. There's a little booze there. There's even a little floral notes in here. It's just really refined, elegant, luxurious, and I promise you, if you have this in your collection and wear this, no one's going to smell like you. And to be quite honest, a lot of these fragrances, no one is going to smell like you. But when I say no one is going to smell like you wearing this, because a lot of people tend to gravitate to those gourmand sweet vanilla fragrances. This is just elevated. This is a head turner. It's a compliment getter. And at $407, it's $407 because I got this for 15% off from Saks, and then you got to factor in tax. At $407, I think is well worth the money. And like I said, it's Fragrance of the Year for a reason. So if you haven't done so already, do yourself a favor and check out Guerlain's Spiritueuse Double Vanille. And we made it. My last video of 2025. I can't thank you guys enough, especially if you got all the way to the end. I can't thank you enough for the support, the love. I try to comment back to everyone that responds to me, even the negative ones, even though it hasn't been too many. But I'm just very, very thankful for the support. This has been a very expensive year when it comes to fragrances for me, and it's overwhelming, right? It's nice to talk about the different fragrances and build up your collection, but it is very overwhelming. So again, I want to be intentional going into the next year and really just, instead of buy, pick out what I really think will fit my collection. But I'm grateful for the collections to be able to talk about it. So it's been a really interesting year. Again, thank you everybody. Happy New Year to everyone. Please be safe. Let's love one another. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world. Let's big up our faith in our Lord and Savior, and just, again, love on one another, love your loved ones, and just be kind to people. And I'm excited for what the next year has to bring. So again, Happy New Year, everyone. Stay blessed. Like, comment, and subscribe. And always remember, the best compliment one can get is that you smell so good.